Hey everybody, nice to see you all. Hi there, it's Jake Humphrey here. Now, you may well know me as someone who hosts TV programs, but as well as being a TV presenter, I'm also a really proud provider of a scholarship at the University of East Anglia, along with my wife Harriet. We feel really passionately that it's so important that people get the opportunity to learn and to study, and that finances shouldn't be a barrier. And my entire career has been built on people taking a chance on me, taking a risk, giving me an opportunity that others might not. And when we were finally able to do so, we were really keen to do what we can to support the next generation of people, to take a chance on them, to give them an opportunity. And it felt like supporting the UEA through their media degree was the perfect thing for us. So people that really want to get into the world of broadcasting or television or media or movies, but financially they can't, we just wanted to break that barrier down for them. So a couple of years ago, we set up the Jake Humphrey Scholarship supporting students. And normally at this time of year, everyone gets to get together for the UEA's annual scholarship event. But instead, I'm sitting in my study with my headphones on, not able to be near anyone. But despite the fact that we're currently living through a global pandemic, it's still been a remarkable year in terms of scholarships at the UEA. In fact, this year, the UEA has welcomed 70 new scholars to the university, with the gifts for them worth an amazing £660,000. So to all the donors that are watching this, I hope that you rightly feel proud of what you do. But this isn't just about money, is it? This is about opportunity. And we can throw around figures like £660,000, but actually I think the opportunity that we are giving to people is absolutely priceless. I'm so proud to be involved. And the plan for the next little while is that instead of us all getting together as we normally would, we're instead going to have a series of conversations with people about the importance of scholarships, the future for scholarships. We're going to speak to people that are providing them, people that are receiving them. So I hope you enjoy this very short film from us. Such a shame we can't all get together, but hey, in 12 months' time, let's make up for it with a nice glass of champagne on the lawns at the UEA. And for now, on with the film. I'd really like to welcome to our conversation Val Lungi, who's in her first year studying at the UEA. Val is from Athens in Greece and moved to Norwich to study art history with gallery and museum studies. And Val is the recipient of the Maria Boboulis Scholarship, generously created in memory of the UEA alumna Maria Boboulis, to support a Greek undergraduate student who wants to study at the UEA. Val, really nice to talk to you. Thanks very much for having a chat with us. Well, let me take you back to when you got the news about the UEA scholarship. I don't know where you were when you got the letter or the phone call or the email. Were your parents around? How excited was everybody?
Naturally, I was really thrilled when I found out the news. But if I'm being honest, what I remember most vividly is my parents' reaction. At the time, I was with my mom and my sister, and when I read the email that actually I was awarded with this scholarship, we called my dad, and I remember my mom saying to my dad, like, we got the scholarship. Obviously, she meant that I got the scholarship. But because at first hand they saw how hard I worked to accomplish everything that I have and how hard I worked to be accepted here, and they're really supportive and they're really proud of me, and I'm really touched, and I will always remember this moment.
Just tell us, in all honesty, what would have been the other option if you hadn't been able to get a scholarship to study? Would you have not been able to study at all?
I wasn't planning to come to any English university due to high student fees, but I found UEA through study abroad exhibition, and I was so intrigued and willing to come. They were able to combine those things that I really loved. I always said that I want to study art history when I was asked what I want to do professionally, and it was the ideal course for me. So I was like, I need to try really hard to get in this university. I was really excited. I was constantly reading everything about UEA. So I think that I will still be here, but one thing that would be extremely difficult for me would be the financial support that perhaps I could not have. That's why I think for me and for everyone, the scholarship is really important, because every scholarship helps us to prioritize our future. And I think that's the most important thing that we can do as young people. We need to look forward, and we need to see that life, even though it's hard, we could have stuff that will keep us going and improving our life.
What's really nice having this conversation, Val, is that your life has been changed not just because of the chance to go to university, but also this scholarship has taken you to a foreign country. And I think it means that it's so much more than just university life, campus life, doing your degree. To come to a foreign country, it's going to open your eyes to a world that is very different to Athens, very different to Greece, and you will be richer for that, won't you?
100%. That's why I chose to come here actually. I could go back to a Greek university, but I thought that I want to study something that I want to be around people and learn stuff. And I think that is really good for me to put myself out there, even though I'm 18 now, and I think for a lot of 18-year-olds sound kind of like it's terrifying that, oh, we're going to a different country, especially now with COVID. It's really scary, but I think that if we look at our future, that's really important lessons, that we go to a different country, we learn different people, we learn different stuff, and afterwards we're going to be much, much richer.
Wonderful. Look, Val, it's so nice to have the conversation with you. Very best of luck for the rest of your studies, and I'm so pleased that you were able to take advantage of the scholarship. Take care of yourself.
Thank you.
And I'm really pleased to say that I'm now joined by Marcus. Marcus came to the UEA thanks to the Medical Aspirations Scholarship Programme, which is generously funded by the UEA alumnus David Tibble. So the programme is now in its 10th year. Amazingly, in that time, 32 academically gifted students from East Anglia have had the chance to study medicine at the university thanks to David Tibble's generosity. So let's talk to Marcus Dyer, who's now in the final year of his degree. I guess in some ways, Marcus, You've probably spent the last year being grateful that you had a couple of normal years before this one.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, the 5 years has absolutely flown by. And, I think if I was doing a 3-year degree and, the last year, would have made such a bigger impact in that. And obviously my uni time was normal up until last year. So I got those first 3 years, to live like any other uni student. So yeah, strange times, but fortunate it's come towards the end of the training, definitely.
Wonderful. Well, let's talk then about life at the UEA, life in Norwich. I've grown up here, so I know all about Prince of Wales Road and the Garden House and various drinking holes that are frequently attended by UEA students. But I imagine it's been more than just about nights out, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like yourself, I'm from around here initially. So yeah, I was pleased to kind of come to Norwich for uni. Originally, I'd see myself going further afield, but obviously with the scholarship coming in there, that kind of made the decision quite easy for me, and I wouldn't have had it any other way. I've absolutely loved my time in Norwich. As you say, the watering holes around here are quite good, and I've enjoyed my nights out and stuff. But as you say, it is more than that. I think that the course at UEA is quite unique in terms of the early patient contact, which has been a major difference because they kind of throw us into a GP practice, 1 or 2 weeks into the course where we don't really know anything. And I can still, remember speaking to those first patients. And I thought, well, I'm not ready to be speaking to patients yet. I don't know anything. And when you look back, you realise how far you've come.
Amazing. It's brilliant. I wonder what the situation would have been like for you if you hadn't been able to take advantage of the scholarship. Like, would you have gone to uni at all? Would you have had to work a lot harder and take various jobs to get yourself through?
When you're applying to medical school and you're trying to get in, it's at least kind of a 4-year process. And I'll obviously put in all the hard graft to do that. So then got down to the practicalities of it. And I think, hang on, how am I going to be able to afford to do this degree? This is all I've ever wanted. The door's open, it's ajar. And then in terms of the scholarship, I think it just kind of busted that door open. Without the scholarship, I would have had to get a part-time job, I think. And to be honest, I'm not even sure whether I would have been able to juggle that alongside the studies. But even so, it's allowed me to enjoy the time away from the course way much more without having to worry about the finances of it.
Yeah, you know what, Marcus? I think that's actually really powerful because I think a lot of people do everything within their power to get to the point where they can do the degree they want to do. And in your case, it was to do a medical degree. But then through no fault of their own, simply through circumstance, the door gets slammed shut in their face. And there'll be thousands of people over the years that their entire life has been different because there wasn't the opportunity to go to university. And it's so great to hear you sit there and you talk so excitedly about the course that you've done and what the future holds for you. And you are a sort of living testament to the power of scholarships. I wonder whether it changes your mindset as well when you're doing the course, that you know someone else has put their hand in their pocket to get you through this.
Absolutely. I mean, as with any degree, medicine gets hard at times. And it's kind of those moments where you're working towards your end of year exams and you're thinking, every now and again it hits you and you think somebody's actually paying for me to be here, and has given me this opportunity. I wouldn't say it's been pressure, it's just been more motivation. I think, well, somebody's believed in me that I can go and do this, so it's time that I start believing in myself. And that's been a constant motivator throughout the degree.
Brilliant, well done. And finally, a message for your donor, David Tibble, and other people like him, because there will hopefully be people watching this video that are just teetering on the edge of wanting to become a donor and they're just not sure. What message would you give to them?
Every year, I write a letter to David, as do all the scholars, to kind of talk them through what's happened in the past year. And every year, my letter just centres around, how grateful both myself and my family are, because, as I've said, we couldn't see how I could have done this without that support. And I can't thank him enough. Without his support, I couldn't be here now, and I couldn't be going on to what I'm doing next year. So.
And you know what I like about it? You can look at it really simply and go, that guy got you through university. But you're now going to go on, you're going to do some amazing studies elsewhere, some brilliant research. And then who knows the lives you'll impact, the lives you'll save, where your future is. And, when you sit down with a lovely high quality Scotch whiskey in some wonderful big house in 50 years time as the preeminent medical academic of the last 50 years, you can think right the way back to David Tibble and the UEA, because he hasn't just changed the last 4 or 5 years for you. He has set you on a totally different path for life, hasn't he?
That's it, yeah, completely. It's not just the 5 years that I've been at uni, as you say, it is everything that is before me. And, if I'm sitting in that big house with that big whiskey, I'll be sure to dip into my pocket and put it back into students, because I know what a difference it's made.
I love that. What a great message. Well, listen, congratulations on the last few years. Very best of luck in North Wales. Come back and visit the sunshine in Norfolk before too long.
I sure will. Yeah, thanks very much.
Well, I'm so pleased to be talking now to the UEA's Vice-Chancellor and President, Professor David Richardson. David, let's talk then about scholarships. Maybe you would like to sort of start just by explaining why they're so important to life at the UEA.
UEA was founded on a mission of social inclusion back in the 1960s, and we're very passionate about giving people the opportunity to engage in higher education. And quite simply, scholarships enable us to do that. They make it possible for people from a wide variety of backgrounds, particularly low socioeconomic backgrounds, to be able to afford to come to university, be able to engage in their studies and the social sides of university, whilst not having to worry so much about financial pressures. That's what scholarships do, and they open up opportunities for so many students, talented students, who wouldn't get those opportunities otherwise.
And look, I don't think either of us would sit here and say that going to university is the only way to be successful in life. But for certain people, university is the way they want to go. And it's not right that finances stop that from happening. And from my perspective, there's no doubt about it. Giving people access, not just to the studies at the UEA, but the life and the opportunity and the experiences that the UEA offers, I think is really important. And with the life that you've led, obviously you would believe that education can change lives as well.
Well, it changed my life. Going to university gave me confidence. I had no confidence. I didn't do very well at school. Actually, I'm a dyslexic, and I was brought up in the 1970s. And, I struggled through school, but I managed to get qualifications that were just enough to go to university. And I wanted to go to a campus-type university like UEA, where that university community, that campus community, could help me develop in confidence, and it did. I should little secret. I did actually apply to go to UEA, but they rejected me.
I'm so pleased you got there in the end. That's the main thing, and you've done all right. Actually, let's just briefly touch then on the sort of the campus life, because I think, as we've both said, university is about so much more than just getting a degree. How difficult has that been for everyone over the past 12 months, not being able to live the kind of campus life that those poor students should be living?
Oh, I think what it shows is that there's so much more to a university experience than just attending lectures and seminars. It's being together on a campus that is part of developing as a person and developing social skills and taking advantage of university societies and sporting facilities and just that broader developing yourself as a person alongside, of course, the important education, the fantastic lectures and seminars that our wonderful staff give as well. That's what it's about. And actually on scholarships, Jake, that's why scholarships are really important for students from lower economic backgrounds, because otherwise those students are having to perhaps spend those times out of study, working in bars, when they could be engaging in the societies and the wider parts of the university. So these scholarships actually enable students to do more because they don't have to spend as much time supplementing their income through, working all night in a bar.
Yeah, I mean, students that would have been working for the past 12 months, building up a pot of money for the future, or taking a year out before going to university to get the money that perhaps their family can't provide for them, or even mums and dads who would have put their kids through university and because of the pandemic have either lost jobs or lost income. It probably means that the future of scholarships is more important than ever, doesn't it?
COVID has been quite discriminatory in that sense, discriminatory against people from low socioeconomic backgrounds in particular, and scholarships help those students and they become more important than ever before. And actually, in response to that, we launched a specific scholarship fund to help students in these COVID times, a hardship fund, and our wonderful UEA alumni community and other supporters of UEA have come out in force to support that hardship fund. And I want to give my thanks to everybody who's contributed to that. It's wonderful that they have, and it's made a difference to a lot of students' lives.
Great, lovely message. And talking of which, do you have a message that you'd like to sign off with for this year's scholarship donors, the students, the families?
Thank you so much to all of you. You're making such a difference to so many people's lives. No students, no previous generation, not yours, Jake, not mine, have ever been through an experience like a global pandemic. And they're going to come through that, and these scholarships are helping them to do that.
Wonderful. Lovely to chat, and look forward to doing it not in this manner before too long.
Can't wait for that, Jake. And you look after yourself.
Joining me now is Annabelle Abbs, who's given 5 mature students the chance to pursue a Masters in Creative Writing Prose Fiction at the UEA. An award-winning author herself, Annabelle actually studied English literature at the UEA. Annabelle, so nice to talk to you. Maybe start by telling us what inspired you to support a scholarship at the UEA.
Well, I mean, I wish I could tell you that it was something I'd been thinking about for a long time, but it was a really spur-of-the-moment decision. And it came about because of several things coming together at one point in time. One of which was that I had really struggled to write a novel myself. I'd done it on my own with the sort of kids running around the house, and I'd found it really, really difficult and quite a lonely experience. And I thought, God, perhaps I can help someone not have to go through that same very challenging process. And secondly, I've always thought that literature and stories are a way of, creating a world where people can understand what it's like to be someone else and to slip inside someone's skin. And while I was raising my kids, I was becoming really aware of how binary the world was becoming. And I had this personal experience of, oh my God, that was so difficult. And then UEA, just at that time, UEA got in touch with me, and I hadn't been in touch with UEA for a very, very long time. I think not since I left, not since I graduated. I'd really slipped off the alumni radar, and somehow they tracked me down. And it was those 3 things at the same time, and I just suddenly thought, okay, I can do this.
So interesting, and I wonder what your thoughts are generally on people pursuing the life they want through academia as well. I know that your father Peter, who I know sadly passed away at the end of last year, and I'm sorry about that. I know that he taught English, didn't he, in Bristol for quite a few years. So I wonder whether you have a real sort of understanding of the fact that university and education can give you something that maybe you can't find elsewhere.
I really was brought up to believe absolutely in in education, in learning, and in curiosity. That curiosity that is nurtured when you go to school, when you have great teachers, and that doesn't really happen when you go to work. It's a very, very different environment. But university, you have that chance to think and to learn about yourself, which really happened to me at UEA, and that chance to explore. And you never get that again, really. University should be not just about going and coming away with a degree, but about coming away knowing much more about who you are and having that really deep-seated curiosity sort of having been beautifully nurtured in you.
It's so true. And the sad thing is there will be people who are hugely creative, massively ambitious, wonderfully talented, but they simply financially will never get the opportunity to pursue the life they want to pursue because they won't be able to afford to go to university. And I think that is a barrier that someone like you is removing for those people, and that means so much. We spoke previously to a student, and he's studying medicine. But his entire life, Annabelle, is going to be changed by the fact that he's been on a scholarship program. The next 50 years of his life, and it's no different to the 5 people that you've already helped. Let's say the 5 mature students that you've supported speak to 5 other people or inspire 5 other people. Suddenly you've inspired 25 people, and they speak to 5 other people, and suddenly that's 125 people. And after that, my maths runs out. But the ripples are big, I think, when you give people an opportunity that otherwise wouldn't be there.
Yes, yeah, and I like to think with the creative writing students and scholars, I like to think that when they produce a book, it doesn't just speak to 5 people; it speaks to 500,000 or 5 million even, because of course books have that opportunity to travel such a long way. With whatever the messages they contain, which are often about how we can live in a more harmonious world and how we can have more empathy and compassion for people. And I think it's really important at the moment.
And do you love to keep across the progress of the people you've supported?
I do. I offer to read their work, and we just keep in touch, and I like that. It's really important to me.
Wonderful. You're clearly very proud of the students you've supported.
No, they're all brilliant.
Wonderful. And you should be proud of yourself because you're changing lives. And I think, sometimes we like to play these things down, but the reality is it is changing people's lives. So well done.
Thank you.
Well, there we go. Just a few really important conversations, I think. And I've just been making notes while I was chatting to the various people. And I think that I've learned personally so much today, whether it was David just talking to us about the incredible power of university to change people's lives. And then what I loved when we spoke to Marcus, the medical student, was that I think even I've thought with my scholarship program, it'll be really nice for those students for the 3 years that they're studying media. But then when you talk to Marcus, it's a reminder that you're going to impact people's lives for 10, 20, 30 years. You're going to impact the rest of their life. And then because their lives have been changed by going to the UEA, it impacts their children's lives. And like I said to Annabelle, the ripples keep on going, don't they? And I thought it was really nice when Annabelle spoke about she's inspiring people that are going to write books, and those books will sell many thousands of copies. Again, it spreads it out even further. And it was also brilliant to speak to Val, and I think the wonderful thing about talking to Val is just what it means to her and means to her family and all of her friends as well. And if you're watching this and you are a donor, I hope it's been a really good reminder for you of the incredible impact you're making in people's lives. If you're a student or you're a family member of a student who's been helped by a scholarship program, I hope it's a reminder to you, not that you probably need reminding of just what an amazing opportunity you've been given. And finally, the most important message of all, really, if you're thinking of supporting a student, if you're thinking of becoming a donor, I really hope that the last 20 or so minutes has reminded you that it's a way of genuinely making an impact and changing someone's lives. And at the back end of a global pandemic, I think scholarships and donors are required more than ever. So thanks so much for watching, and fingers crossed, in the sunshine, in a year, we'll all get together at the UEA. But for now, stay safe, take care, and thanks for watching.